fight, we compete. It's who we are, and fighting is what we're going to do.
Just keep scratching, go out and give it everything you have, be aggressive. We keep fighting, we keep playing for each other.
We're never going to give up, and the character of Auburn is never defeated until the last out.
We leave it on the field. We're pulling for each other. It's about us going out and being Auburn.
We really want to come out and fire on all cylinders again. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a showdown.
It is semifinal Sunday, and a pair of teams fighting for their first trip to the championship series. It's the Florida State Seminoles and the Auburn Tigers, who were knocked out in the semis a year ago. From 8 teams, we are down to 4, and for Auburn and Oklahoma tonight, if they win, they are into the championship series, best 2 out of 3, and we can start it tomorrow night. If Florida State or LSU win tonight, then we will play, if necessary, games or 1 game tomorrow before that championship series can begin. And we welcome you to Oklahoma City. I'm Beth Mullins, along with a couple of Olympic gold medalists, Michelle Smith and Jessica Mendoza. We have 2 teams that are here, and they have gotten here with very different things. For the Auburn Tigers, it's been their bats. They're the #2 scoring team in the country, Jess, and they have already put up 14 runs through their first 2 wins here in OKC.
Beth, it's no doubt about it that this team is incredibly talented, but it really starts with who is at the helm. And Clint Byars, ever since taking over this regime 3 years ago, has changed the mindset of how these Tigers play the game. They are fearless. The way they take extra bases, they are aggressive in the way that they work counts and their at-bats. The reason that they are here today is because of how well they are coached, and it shows up in all facets of their game.
So they're going to try and beat you with power. Michelle, for Florida State, they do things a little differently. They, too, are a top 10 scoring team in the country, but a lot of that comes from their legwork on the bases.
And you got to love to watch them run. Lonnie Alameda takes the strength that this team has, and she really multiplies it. So she will run her team. She'll be aggressive with them. 154 stolen bases on the season. That's really incredible. In fact, at the top of the lineup, Morgan Cleveland, 53 on her own. They'll take the extra base. They're aggressive all the way around, but oh yes, they can hit the long ball as well with Alex Powers and Jessica Warren, and they're pretty darn good in the circle as well.
6 stolen bases here at the World Series, and they have been stellar in the circle. They are going to go with a freshman on the hill today for the Seminoles, and for the Auburn Tigers, they will put the ball in the hands of a sophomore to face the Capital One starting lineup for FSU. And it will begin with Morgan Cleveland in center field. Then the 2 power hitters, Warren and Powers. They have moved up in the order. They've got 4 home runs here in the World Series. Broderick will bat 4th. Ellie Cooper has fallen down to the 5 spot in the order. Then it's Herod with some speed, followed by the right fielder Carson Gordon. Alex Kossoff had their only hit in their 1-0 win over Michigan earlier today. And Zoe Casas will bat in that number 9 spot as the designated player. FSU was out on this field earlier today and a 1-0 win to knock out Michigan. So they have beaten the Wolverines, and they have beaten UCLA already on their road into the semifinals today to face Kaylee Carlson, the sophomore out of Garden Grove, California, the transfer from North Carolina.
Carlson has done a great job this year. Most amount of innings for Alabama that uses a staff. She has a great changeup, so much so her teammates call it the Devastator. You know, she'll use that a lot. She also likes to work the screwball and the drop ball low in the zone. Most all Auburn pitchers are pitch to contact. They use their defense to get out. They're not going to blow it past you. They're going to use their D.
And the first pitch to Cleveland is a rise ball high. These 2 teams played a doubleheader in mid-April. They split it down in Auburn, with the Tigers winning the first game 9-6, and then Florida State coming back to win the second game 4-3. In that first game, which Auburn came back to win, Carlson did get the start, and FSU chased her. Lasted just 2 1/3 innings. And Cleveland is one that the Seminoles want to get on the base pass. She's got 3 hits and has stolen 3 bases so far in their 3 games here. 1-2 from Carlson.
Carlson using that changeup immediately. First batter going right at Claveman, and then comes back with a hard pitch. That last pitch up in the zone. Claveman a little late on it, but that's really going to be the report on Carlson. You either need to sit change or look for something up, screwball away, try and put it in play.
One-two to Claveman. Called strike 3. Moving up and away from Morgan, 1 down.
That's the screwball, so she'll set up the changeup, she'll come up high, and then she'll work this screwball. Look at it on the outside corner. She gets a little bit of love in the river. Look at the rotation of this ball, the way she's going to really pull this pitch off of her left side. That great tumbling rotation on the screwball.
That'll bring up Jessica Warren, who has a couple of home runs and 3 runs batted in. The All-ACC performer for the ACC champs, trying to become the first team from that league to play in the finals. And it comes in to Warren, gets hit by a pitch. That's the 22nd time this year she's been HBP'd.
It's the screwball again. Just gets away from her.
Well, you put Warren on, and now you've got another home run hitter coming up. Alex Powers is 6 for 9 here in the World Series with a couple of home runs. Swinging away at that first pitch. In fact, for Florida State, this is where the majority of their productivity has come. Warren and Powers are 9 for 19. The rest of the team is 9 for 49.
We can see how
so far at the World Series.
I'm sorry, Beth. You can see how aggressive so far Alex Powers, Jessica Warren swinging at the first pitch. We haven't seen a lot of that here at the World Series.
And lifts that one out to left, and that'll get by Howard. And a look at some of that speed. The runner will come in to score. Jessica Warren on the RBI double from Powers.
You can tell Powers, the reason she's had so much success, she's had a plan, and you can see this pitch away, she's looking away, she drives her barrel away, but the biggest thing here is Jessica Warren coming around to score. Look at the cutoff to Whitney Jordan. I think if they hit her directly, they have a chance to throw her out at home.
1-0 Florida State. They jump on Auburn and Kaylee Carlson quickly. This is Sydney Broderick.
The one thing you know for Florida State, they know what Carlson's going to throw. She is known for throwing that changeup, her off speed, utilizing that pitch. So what does that allow you to do? It allows you as a hitter to wait, see the ball travel. So even though the pitches that are getting hit aren't the changeup, these Florida State batters are able to stay back and go with the away pitches that Carlson's throwing.
Well, we told you about the Auburn power at the plate, and if there is an Achilles heel, it's the fact that Auburn, while they do have a pitching staff of 5 different arms, it may be lacking in that one ace that you might like to have on a day like today.
Yeah, there's the advantages of both because they do have those 5 different arms. They haven't really developed the ace. We saw that Carlson coming into this game had the most amount of innings of any of the Auburn pitchers, which is just barely over 100. A lot of other pitchers that or programs that ride one arm, they may have that many innings by a third of the way through the season.
This is the 3rd game of the series for Auburn. They beat UCLA on Thursday 10-3, had Friday off. They beat Georgia yesterday afternoon 4-3. Had to come from behind to do it. Head coach for the Seminoles, now in her 8th season, is Lonnie Alameda. She's been here as an assistant with your Stanford Cardinal, Jess. And as the head coach in Tallahassee, a couple of trips here. That win against UCLA, their first win in OKC since '04. The throw down behind the base runner and back in safely is Powers.
Lonnie Alameda is just such the the epitome of leadership, and she does it in a way that allows this team to have fun. And you will see the focus, but you'll see some smiles from this Florida State Seminole team. They enjoy the game.
She's back home. She played at Oklahoma. Trying to go up, and that'll be foul off the bat of Broderick. Sydney is 3 for 8 so far at the World Series. Junior out of Ashburn, Virginia, who started out her career at BYU. This is a young team made up primarily of players from the Southeast. And that one gets away from Wallace, and it's Powers over to third.
Boy, that's something you don't see very often. Carly Wallace is not the tallest of catchers, but she's pretty good at getting up and getting pitches. It's a wild pitch. It gets above her head or off the top of the glove.
Now Broderick a chance to pick up the RBI, possibly with a sac fly here. Alameda, by the way, was the coach of the year in the ACC. Powers, the player of the year. Jessica Burrows, the pitcher of the year. They swept all the major awards. Jordan checks the runner, fires to first. 2 down. So a chance here for Ellie Cooper, who has struggled in the series. She's 0 for 11. Had been hitting second. They drop her down to the 5 spot, and a shot at redemption. And a chance to make her mark right here with 2 outs. 351 on the season. She's been terrific, not only with the bat in her hand, but as the leader of this Seminole team. And it hits her. A couple of hit batters in the inning for Carlson.
And another changeup, starts off with a changeup, gets the call, and then comes back with it again. And that's just a timing mechanism. As a pitcher, when you're throwing a changeup, you have to think about releasing it out in front of that hip. And if you hold on to it too long, you start waving to the batter. That's when you start having control issues with it.
Well, and Carlson got the win against UCLA on Thursday through 7 innings. So this is not a debutante, even though this is her first trip to the World Series.
I think part of it, too, is the pressure that Florida State has put on since early in the counts. They've been swinging early. They're not taking a ton of pitches. They've been very aggressive. And that can make a pitcher nervous. I mean, I always love that go-for-it attitude, because then a pitcher gets a little squeamish with how they want to throw over the middle of the plate. And this is what you're seeing from Carlson. She's throwing all around the strike zone instead of coming right at him.
Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Callie Herod just below the knees, 2-0. 253 batter on the year with 23 runs batted in. Takes a look at a strike, 2-1. Already activity for that pitching staff for Auburn. Michaela Martin, the freshman from San Diego, trotting out to the bullpen as Herod fouls one off her foot. It has been a pitch by committee staff, a 16th ranked ERA coming into the tournament, and often Clint Byars will use one pitcher to start, and once through the batting order, come in with somebody else, try and keep the opponent guessing. 2-2 from Carlson. Got her with the change. The strikeout with a couple on. But it's the Florida State Seminoles. Alex Powers driving in Jessica Warren. They strike first. 1-0 Florida State grabs the early lead over the Auburn Tigers. And Auburn about to pick up the bats as we head to the bottom of the first. Here's the Capital One starting lineup for one of the top hitting teams in the country. Tiffany Howard will lead off in left. Casey Cooper 3 for 7 so far in the World Series, followed by Emily Carasoni, Carly Wallace, and Jade Rhodes. They are so strong from 1 through 5. Haley Fagan is the DP. Maddie Gibson hit a home run off of Florida State in the regular season. And then it's Jordan and Victoria Draper, the center fielder, in those 8-9 spots. And they will face Megan King, throwing the biggest game of her life. The freshman out of Parkland, Florida, a 25-game winner and an all-ACC performer this year.
Well, the reason Megan King got the start is Lonnie Alameda really likes this lefty-on-lefty matchup. Top hitters for Auburn are left-handed hitters. She'll have a heavy down with her drop, but watch her rise to get the chase. But a big also reason is she's going to eat up innings to help this staff that includes Jessica Burrows.
Yeah, that's your planning for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual for the Seminoles and Megan King. She redshirted last year at FSU. They've had a long line of awfully good pitchers at Florida State, and getting the opportunity this year, and she has seized it. She and Jessica Burrows, both 25-plus game winners. Now this is Tiffany Howard, the SEC hits leader this year. She's 1 for 8 so far at the Women's College World Series, but she's still managed to get on base enough to score 5 times in 2 games. The slap to short, and she beat it out on the charge from Herod.
And Howard, with all of her speed in that top leadoff spot, I think this is a situation where Warren needs to try to go after this a little bit more and take that away from her shortstop. The quicker you can get to it. A nice short hop on this by Howard, but I think if Jessica Warren can cut that off through the 5-6 hole from that third base position, you have more of a chance to get the speed of Howard.
Now you've got your SEC Player of the Year, a finalist, one of the 3 finalists for National Player of the Year. It's Casey Cooper. 3 for 7 with 3 runs batted in. Always a home run threat when she steps to the plate. Her next home run will set a new single-season school record. Tied for the record right now with Jade Rhodes. And the strikeout for Megan King. Quick work of Cooper. 1 down.
You can see the pace of King very quick and just attacked with a game plan to throw away to Cooper. I told you that lefty-on-lefty matchup. That's why King gets the ball, and that's a perfect example of what King can do best against this left-handed hitting team.
Got her with the curve. Now it's Emily Carasoni. Emily has picked up a couple of runs batted in both of their games here at the World Series. The senior from Orlando, Florida, is making her 249th career start tonight. And she lit up Seminole pitchers in their doubleheader in April. Went 4 for 6 with a 3-run home run.
Now 3 pitches, 3 same exact location, and there is a game plan right now, and it's always fun to see. First time through the order, the cat and mouse game, but right now King, they like that curveball up and away to these lefties.
Throws it by Carasoni, another nice curveball.
They should bring it again, 4 in a row.
She is all business. She does not waste any time. And now Carasoni will stay out of the batter's box to try and play with a rhythm a little bit.
And pace of game is so important for pitchers. Get on that pitching rubber, ready to go. Try to get the hitter out of rhythm. A lot of hitters try to do that to pitchers.
Here's a look at Clint Byars with that ever-present stopwatch. His 3rd season at Auburn, their 2nd trip to the national semifinals after Myers won a couple of national championships at Arizona State. This is his 9th time to the Women's College World Series. Runner will go as the ball popped out of Broderick's glove, and Howard down to second. Score that a pass ball. We're at the time of year, and we've seen it all week long. You make a mistake, and opponents will pounce. Florida State's run was off of a hit batter. Now you got a couple on here for Auburn with one down.
Well, and really, that's how Auburn got here as well. They defeated UGA yesterday, took advantage of some late inning errors, 7th inning errors actually, to come back.
Seminoles found that out in their opening game here. They lost to Georgia with 7 errors. They've been solid since then. This is Carly Wallace, the sophomore from Alpine, California. 1 for 6 so far at the World Series. Broderick will head out to settle down the freshman.
Yeah, this is where Megan King needs to stay relaxed. Coach is going to come out and talk to her. Try to rely on the defense. As you mentioned, they had some hiccups there in game 1. 7 errors. But so far, they've been pretty solid since then, but just let the defense play it. We've seen a lot of pitch-to-contact pitchers here, and you've got to be able to trust your defense. And when I say that, I mean mentally as a pitcher.
Jessica Burrows, it's going to be a short leash here for the Seminoles. She's warming up. For Megan King so far, she worked 5 innings of relief against Georgia in their loss. Got the start against UCLA and did not make it out of the first inning. Gave up a grand slam to Misha Sadaraka. Auburn well aware of that as they try and rattle her cage here in the bottom of the first. Down a run. Two and one.
This is where Auburn is at their best. When they work counts, they don't do a whole lot. It's a little slap base hit. It's Carasoni with a fantastic at bat. And right now, Wallace just eyeing King, patiently waiting and forcing the pressure to be on King's shoulders.
Foul down the line and right. Out of the rough and tumble Southeastern Conference that brought 4 teams here to the World Series. And the Tigers were the SEC tournament champs. Other than this weekend, probably the toughest in all of softball. And in the Southeast, they might argue that point. Wallace, center field, back it goes, and it is out of here. Carly Wallace, the 3-run home run.
It's a curveball that just is elevated, and Wallace takes that up and in pitch and just drives it full extension, drives it out the opposite way. Not trying to pull it, just lets it get deep and drives it out of the park. That is a clutch hit.
5th home run of the season for Wallace.
She may not be the tallest on this team, but she packs a punch.
One thing about Wallace, she has stepped up. Every year in the postseason, she is big.
She was all tournament at the Women's College World Series last year, and that shot may help get her on the team this year. Megan King has now given up a grand slam and a 3-run home run here at the World Series. And Jade Rhodes sends one back to the track, and the catch is made by Cleveland. 2 down. They are seeing some pitches they like here in the first inning. And it's Haley Fagan.
The biggest thing they're doing is forcing King to bring the ball up in the zone. And when Megan King can live at the knees against this Auburn team and get those calls. But Auburn, you see, scored 9 runs in the first inning, the first 3 games, have outscored their opponents 126-25 in the first inning this year.
They put up 5 on UCLA. They scored in the first against Georgia, and now 3 here tonight. Jessica Burrows looking in.
Megan King does throw a good flip changeup. I'm surprised they have not used that a little bit more just to try to take some of the Auburn power away. I feel like that changeup is something you have to throw. You don't have to throw it for a strike, but you have to just show it.
The numbers on Fagan this year, who took her red shirt off to play in the postseason, and now celebrating her 22nd birthday at the Women's College World Series. She transferred in, also suffered an injury in her career. They didn't think she'll be back next year. They did not think they would get a 6th year for her the year after. So she decided, with the team they had this year and a shot at a championship, she wanted to be here. She was the starting shortstop here a year ago, and then the ACL injury in the offseason. She's the designated player. In her last 4 games, trying to get back to full speed, she's been the old Haley Fagan.
Yeah, Corey Myers calls her the bridge. Basically, the one insert they needed in the lineup to really connect the top and the bottom. She's been fabulous as of late.
Carly Wallace on the home run ball to the folks, a World Series tradition. Looked like Dad was getting choked up. And the walk to Fagan. So a couple of free passes and a couple of hits here in the inning for the Tigers, and they are partying already.
I think we're going to see Jessica Burrows sooner than Lonnie Alameda would have liked. I think she expected Burrows to come into this game, but was hoping that King would eat up a little bit more innings. Burrows throwing yesterday, only 100 pitches, but still.
Going Oppo down the line and drifting foul off the bat of Maddie Gibson.
And the reason is Auburn hitters just don't look fooled, and that's something that Lonnie can see from the dugout. And unless King starts mixing in the off-speed, as you mentioned, Smitty, starting to get more ahead of these batters, but Auburn all over her right now.
And isn't it the question that every coach and every manager has when you're playing a doubleheader? Do you go with the hot hand? Now, LSU, for example, will have the same decision in our next game tonight. Do you go back to Carly Hoover after Burrows had pitched a whale of a game today against Michigan?
Yeah, and I think you have to ride the arm that got you here. I think Burrows has more experience. She's got more movement. I like the lefty-lefty matchup, but there's only so many lefties in the lineup for Auburn. If they were 9 lefties, maybe I'd go. Think a little harder.
Gibson, the slow roller to second. Cooper over to Powers at first. Side is retired. But not before the Auburn Tigers, as they have done all year, work their magic in the first inning. Carly Wallace with a 3-run shot. Plenty going on through the first inning. 3-1 Auburn over Florida State. Here is Holly Rowe.
Well, the luxury that this Auburn team has is that if they have to play 2 games today, they have a complete staff, 5 pitchers with the possibility of being used today in action if they were to go to 2 games. That is a distinct difference from Florida State with just their 2 pitchers right now. And look at the way they have had such a diverse staff over the course of the season. 30% for one, 28%, and then 2 starters from last season, Rachael Walters and Lexi, have not played as much this season, but those seniors are supporting the youngsters in the circle. We're seeing Kaylee Carlson today, but I've already seen Michaela Martin run out to the bullpen and warm. She's ready to go at a moment's notice. The luxury of having a staff in this day and age.
Thank you, Holly. That's been a conversation piece throughout this tournament. We'll see later tonight for Oklahoma, Paige Parker. No staff necessary yet. Just the one arm has been good enough.
And that's where you're seeing the game evolve.
Yep.
And for so long, it was about riding that one arm. And now it's changing, and it's because of the offense.
Carson Gordon, and the grounder misplayed by Jordan at short. It's the bottom of the order here for Florida State, and they'll bring the tying run to the plate.
On Jordan, you can see her glove late getting into position. She turns it over very late. Right as that ball's still coming up, her glove is facing down, so it's a late turn. So important to try and keep that glove open. You know that's one she's going to want back.
First error of the series for Auburn. Remember, Jordan is their 3rd shortstop. At first it was Fagan, then it was Kelsey Bogarts, the player they call Turtle, who had an ACL injury in the offseason and then had another knee injury at the end of the regular season in the final weekend. Jordan has been manning that spot all season long. This is Alex Casas, the left fielder out of Redondo Beach, California. .266 hitter on the year. She was their starting right fielder 2 years ago, their starting left fielder last year. Went for 4 so far at the World Series.
Kassoff really with a big split grip here. She's leaving the count up to 2-2, just looking to try to put that ball down, move her teammate up, get something started. Let's take on the changeup.
And something you're not going to see from Auburn pitchers, which Holly alluded to, there's 5 of them, is all 5 of these pitchers are pitched to contact. And what that means is they're not going for the strikeout. So you're going to see them really try to attack these Florida State hitters.
Barehanded at third and rifled over to first by Casey Cooper. Only play she had, couldn't use the glove. Time was not on her side.
How good are you that you can just be that confident, barehand this ball, get it out of your hand and quick enough? She gets her only by maybe a half a staff. Kassoff, the speed going down first base. And you're right, Beth, if she tried to use her glove and do the transfer, not going to happen.
Might be seeing that one on the Sports Center Top 10 later tonight.
And to me, that's just high softball IQ, knowing that ball came straight down off the dirt, and so there wasn't a lot of spin, it wasn't mishit, a lot of English on it. Those are the times you can take advantage of that. That's just brilliant.
Zoe Casas, the number 9 hitter. You could almost see, you know, Cooper is a mechanical engineer, a 4.0 student. You could almost see her doing the calculations in her head as the ball was coming down. The math was running through, and she realized, I don't have the time to do this. I got to barehand it.
I have 0.46 seconds.
Yes.
If I get this out in 0.36
if I fire
seconds,
it on a straight line,
the mass of the ball.
There's only vertical rotation. It's not spinning.
She is a textbook student athlete. No pun intended. Well, come to think of it, yeah, that wasn't.
You usually intend your puns. English major, you are.
We've seen the defense. We've talked a little bit about the defense and throwing, pitching to contact. This is a very good double play team. We have seen that as well already at this World Series. So they love to rely on their defense, and it's gotten them this far.
And that starts with the pitching staff knowing, hey, I'm pitched contact, know who I am. And then the defense positioning, trusting the glove of the catcher, that the pitcher's going to throw the glove so you can position to make those double plays.
Casas waited just long enough on the changeup. They have struggled with runners in scoring position throughout this World Series. They've got a chance here.
I also think about the egolessness of what it means when someone tells you you're a pitch to contact pitcher. It's almost like telling someone, you got a really nice personality. But the important thing is it's important. It is a huge asset that these pitchers have, and they own it. You're not a strikeout pitcher.
And that's the most important, probably, bit of knowledge a pitcher needs to have, is knowing honestly who they are as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Are you a changeup pitcher, rise ball pitcher, pitch to contact? But you're right, Jess. It's not all about you in the circle. Did I just say that?
Whoa, I'm sorry.
Holy cow. There's the 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. I'm not believing my ears here from the pitcher's not the center of the universe too. I can't wait to use egolessness in everyday conversation.
That booty box out that Holly Rowe gave us, Lou Harris-Champer.
Runner on second here for Florida State. They're down a pair. 3-2 count on their number 9 hitter, Casas. Called strike 3. 2 down with the top of the order coming.
Well, Carlson just continues to use this screwball, paints the corner perfectly, and look at the way that her catcher, Wallace, is going to show that to the umpire. I love the little body movement to show the glove. You know, half of the strikeout belongs to the catcher, and the way that Carly Wallace just paints that corner for her pitcher is outstanding.
That'll bring up Morgan Claveman, who struck out looking at a screwball in the first. Don't you almost have to have against this Auburn team the mentality of what we're going to have to try and outscore them? And whenever you have a chance here with a runner on, you got to almost match them blow for blow. There's the base hit, and that's going to score a run. It's misplayed by Draper in center. There goes Claveman, one of the fastest players in the country, all the way to third. Gordon comes in to score, and now the tying run is 60 feet away.
Well, this is all defense. It's a base hit up the middle, but watch Draper in center. She's going to go behind the back. I don't know where she's breaking. I don't know if she thought the ball was going to ricochet. The read, very uncharacteristic, but she runs the wrong way. That's just a base hit turned triple because of the read by Draper.
Scoring an RBI triple for Claveman. And now you've got the two home run hitters coming up back-to-back in Warren and Powers. Man, how big is that play now for Casey Cooper at third? The barehanded grab as Martin gets warm out in the pen.
Yeah, if Cooper doesn't make that barehanded grab, that's 2 runs up on the board. This is a tie game. Fine line between outs, being safe, runs being on the board, not on the board. And that's how you win a national championship. You have to make those plays.
Florida State needs to win tonight to force the if necessary game tomorrow. Warren was hit by a pitch in the first, came in to score. She hit home runs in their Georgia and UCLA games here at the World Series. and she is number 2 all-time at Florida State. Going deep.
There's Victoria Draper, the reason I completely lost it, she says, which isn't something you usually see for a ball on the ground. It's something you might lose with the sun in the air. But I think with the runner, she got the wrong angle and obviously read it off the bat wrong. I don't think I've ever seen that, though, for a ground ball.
Well, yeah, especially because ground balls really are all about angles, because typically quick outfielders can run them down.
You can see many of the players have not only the visors, but the sunglasses. The sun sinking low here in Oklahoma City. Warren fights off an 0-2 pitch.
Another point to that, too, is the sun that they're dealing with today, but also the ground conditions. The grounds crew here has done a fabulous job to get the field back up and running, but it took a lot of rain on Thursday. I think it was Thursday, day one. And so the outfield is going to play a little bit different.
Again, Carlson goes away and Warren reaches it.
She wants nothing to do with that pitch. She doesn't want to hit it, and that's why you see on all those foul balls, she's just throwing her bat at it. Get that out of here. Give me something else I can hit.
That's what the coaches talked about with her. She can reach anything. And now Carlson tries to come back in on her, misses at the knees.
And that's one of the reasons I love to see teams play pickle, you know, and
Pepper.
really pickle. Yeah, pepper, or you're right. It is.
One of those pieces.
One of those pieces of food.
Warren muscles that one out to right, and she ties it up for Florida State. Claveman scores. It's 3-3.
And getting back to bat control, that's really what it is all about. Warren just getting enough of that ball, driving it into the outfield. Gotta love that. 2 for 3 tonight with 2 outs.
They had been 1 for 20 through their first 3 games, so they're getting the job done. The RBI triple for Claveman, the RBI single for Warren, and they are not done yet. It's Alex Powers who had the run-scoring double in the first. Batting 700 now at the World Series. And a second pitcher to the bullpen. That's Rachael Walters. Change is in for a strike, 1-1.
Be interesting to see both coaching staffs, what they do with their pitchers. Well, now that the Seminoles have tied this up, do they bring Jessica Burrows back? They give King another shot.
Little chess match going on.
Yeah.
Do you risk it?
I think they put King back in only because they have 1 righty and then 4 consecutive lefties. And then I would not let Carly Wallace face Megan King, the righty, who hit the home run. I'd have Burrows.
I would have Burrows ready to go. You can always come back to King at some point later on, but once you use Burrows, she's in, she's out, she's done.
We'll have to see what she does.
Yes.
All I know, it's only the top of the second this game. I mean, buckle up, right? 3 runs apiece.
Yeah.
Base hit, pulls it through the right side. 3rd hit in a row.
Well, it's remarkable what Alex Powers has been able to do, hitting over 700 now here at the Women's College World Series. When you consider she has had 2 torn ACLs just 10 months apart. She tore one and went through the grueling rehab, got back to the team, and in the very first team practice, returning from that ACL tear, she tore the other one. As she told us the other day, all of the hours, the grueling, lonely hours of rehab and what I've been through, every moment was worth it to be out on this field with my teammates.
And she is making the most of it. We're looking at her numbers right now, Holly. She's now 8 for 11 in the tournament. There's a rope and a shot out to left, and Howard is able to track it down. Side retired. But Florida State responds. We're even at 3. Welcome back to Oklahoma City. It is semifinal Sunday night here at the Women's College World Series. Auburn is 1 win away from moving on to the final. Florida State needs to win tonight and then try and beat the Tigers again tomorrow. In 34 years, it has happened 6 times that you have gotten a sweep out of the loser's bracket, so it can be done. The last time Florida did it to Alabama in 2011. Our second semifinal tonight is Oklahoma LSU. The Sooners are 1 win away from the Champ Series. It's off the glove of King, and right there to have her back is Warren, 1 down. Let's go to Holly.
Well, during the in-between innings right there, Coach Lonnie Alameda of Florida State got both of her pitchers out. She was talking to Burroughs like Burroughs might go in the game, but then after talking with King, she decided to give King the wrist card and put her back in the game. I did talk with Megan before the game, and she said, I have got to do a better job of getting ahead. I'm good when I get ahead. She was trying to talk herself into getting a little pumped up and getting ahead of these batters.
And I like Lonnie Alameda's decision to leave King in this game. She's looked good against these lefties. As you see Howard thinking about laying down the bunt now, or excuse me, Draper. Now you got 4 in a row. And the best hitters on this team, I know Carly Wallace hit the home run, is Casey Cooper and Emily Carasoni. And she looked really good against those powerful lefties. Now after that, I don't know if you go to the Burroughs.
Then you got 4. Then you got 5 righties in a row, the way their lineup is set. And it was Wallace, that righty, that hit the 3-run home run in the first inning for Auburn. Draper, Warren's got it again. 2 down. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA continues tomorrow on ESPN2 at 7 Eastern. Chris Bryant and the NL Central leading Cubs taking on the Phillies. And after the game, stay with ESPN2 for baseball tonight. They'll have all the highlights from around MLB. Of course, it's also on your ESPN app. Cubs-Phillies tomorrow night.
Not a better team in baseball than those Chicago Cubs. Looked a lot like the Florida Gators did the first third through this season. Florida Gators not making it to Oklahoma City, but the Chicago Cubs, we are at the 3rd mark for Major League Baseball, and they are the best team, but you never know what can happen.
That's not your postseason commentary. All of Chicago is ready to celebrate a World Series.
I'm just saying, you never know. You never know. You might be the best team to the first third, but you got to be the best at the end.
I should say the north side of Chicago. The south siders want the Sox to win it.
I think that's an interesting simulation, though. Similarity between Clint Byars, though, and Joe Madden and what he's done with the Cubs, and the way that Byars has come in and really done a great job for Auburn.
Change the way they play.
Leadership at the top, yeah.
This Auburn team under the Myers family. Corey, his son, Casey, who has helped out as well. What they did at Arizona State, and then bringing that over to Auburn.
Clint, by the way, can win championships with 2 different programs and become the first coach to do that. After his success at Arizona State, also successful on the baseball side, on the junior college ranks. He's been up and down and all around the bat and ball, the stick and ball sports. Howard off of King. The ricochet will allow Howard to leg it out for second. And a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. And here comes Cooper again.
This is that aggressiveness of Auburn. Not only does Howard just ricochet this ball so hard as a slap off of the glove and possibly part of the body of King, but Howard out of the box. Watch her out of the box. As soon as she knows that happening, she's thinking double all the way. She comes in without even a throw for a double.
Howard has already scored 6 runs through 2 games and a couple of innings here. And now in scoring position again as they make sure that King is okay after that comebacker. Tiffany Howard has 5 Now 6 doubles on the season. We're told that's her first infield double. Maybe the first infield double of the year anywhere.
You don't see a lot of infield doubles.
Cooper struck out on a curveball. King made very quick work of her the first time they got together. Career leader in home runs, runs batted in, batting average, and just a junior.
She's got that funky setup. Likes to get her back foot pointed. She told me 4 degrees, which was kind of funny and pretty hilarious because of being an engineer. I think mentally more than anything, it helps her think about getting that back hip through the ball on inside pitches.
She looks coiled up so she can torque it out of the yard.
You know you're a student of the game when you're calling the sweet spot the center of percussion. She actually did a study for class, knows exactly where that center of percussion is on her bat. It is matriculated, she told us, from the top down to the middle. Just missed it. Pops it up in foul territory. Off center, not enough percussion. Runner stranded at second. We're even at 3.
We're gritty, we fight, we compete. It's who we are, and fighting is what we're gonna do.
Go out, give it everything you have, be aggressive.
The character of Auburn is never defeated until the last out.
We leave it on the field. We're pulling for each other.
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a showdown.
We're gritty, we fight, we compete. It's who we are, and fighting is what we're gonna do.
Go out, give it everything you have, be aggressive.
The character of Auburn is never defeated until the last out.
We leave it on the field.
We're gritty, we fight, we compete. It's who we are, and fighting is what we're gonna do.
Go out, give it everything you have, be aggressive.
The character of Auburn is never defeated until the last out.
We leave it on the field. We're pulling for each other.
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a showdown.
Well, showdown indeed here. Semifinal Sunday night at the Women's College World Series. We're going to the top of the 3rd. Florida State and Auburn even. Auburn needs 1 win. Florida State needs to win to force the if necessary game. And we've got a pitching change. Michaela Martin, the freshman from San Diego, will come on to replace Kaylee Carlson. Carlson, 2 innings of work, 4 hits, the 1 earned run, but 3 are up on the board for FSU. Facing 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup.
And Martin's going to throw the ball in the mid-60s. It's really all about her drop ball. She'll locate it on a couple different levels. She's, again, one of those pitch-to-contact pitchers. She uses her defense. And the big thing that I like about her, and what Corey Myers always says, is that he wants his young kids, a freshman, just to go out there and have confidence. He said the majority of hitters will get themselves out. We have to go out. We have to throw strikes. If we do that and play good D, we should be okay.
She started their Georgia game on Saturday, pitched 2 innings, left when they were trailing, and then her teammates rallied to win it in the 7th inning, 4-3. So this is her second appearance. Seminoles would love to wake up Ellie Cooper's bat. She's 0 for 11, and there it is, her first hit of the series. Leadoff single to greet Martin.
That's got to feel good. How excited she is to be here in Oklahoma City when we talked to her last week, and finally just to get to first base with a hit.
So this is when Florida State starts to come alive a little bit. They get those base runners on. They start to create some havoc. Throw down to second and out at second on the tag by Jordan. The throw down from Wallace. And they get Cooper, 1 down.
It's all about pop time. It's transition from pitch through the glove and the throw. Look at the way Wallace is going to pop up. A lot of catchers nowadays will throw from their knees. Wallace is just very quick getting out of her squat. Beautiful throw down to second.
Over 150 stolen bases on the year for Florida State, and Wallace denies them there. And now it's quickly an 0-2 count to Herod. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, the reason Carly Wallace can pop up like that, after last season, she said, I was dragging at practice. I knew I had to get in better shape. So she went home and did some circuit training. But more importantly, her trainer, Chappie, would get on her back, and she would carry him up hills running to get stronger back there behind the plate.
Yeah, Holly, she gives him a lot of credit. She does the CrossFit stuff and really worked on her strength and her agility and her endurance.
And I just love her grit. I mean, even talking about the fact she didn't get to catch every game this year because the Auburn coaches recognized how tired she was last season, so they've been able to give her some breaks, and she was honest with us. She looked at us, she's like, I don't like it.
In front of the coaches,
yeah.
no less, she said that.
I mean, total grit, just she wants to be behind the plate every day and do whatever she can, Holly, to make sure she's able to do that.
Yeah. I don't like it, but I understand it, but I still don't like it.
Well, and over the course of the last 35 years, we've seen most of the championship teams have several players with that kind of grit. We see it on these semifinalists tonight.
Well, that's what you need in order to win. I always like to say it's your will. It's that inner desire to win. And if you don't have that, if you don't verbalize that, I want to win this, we're here to win this, it's really tough to do. When you come in, just think, oh, it's going to be okay. I'm glad we made it. That doesn't cut it at this level.
You do see it less and less now. You see it, it's pretty special.
We'll drift off into foul territory.
A lot of players happy to be here, but when you get the ones that are just like, I want you to bring your A game. I am going to give everything I have. I'm going to dive for balls. I'm going to be head to toe covered in dirt. See LSU looking on.
Carly Hoover, I think, right there. They've got next against Oklahoma.
Wow, isn't that a cool view? Talk about the Cubs, it's like the Wrigley Field out past the Ivy. Little look in.
LSU had to play earlier today. They beat Georgia 4-1. Bianca Bell with a pair of home runs, and Hoover got the win. Who do they pitch tonight against the Sooners? And who will the Sooners pitch tonight against LSU? They've won 29 in a row, and during that winning streak, Paige Parker is 23-0. They are humming. (3-2) to Herod. Already 13 pitches to the first couple of batters that Martin has faced.
She's been consistent, working down in the zone. These Florida State hitters kind of just starting at the bottom of the strike zone in that late break.
Pitch of this at bat. Ball four. Good work by Herod. And now you've got some more speed on the bases. Callie is 26 of 27 on the year. That includes a couple of swipes against Auburn during the regular season. Carson Gordon, the right fielder, now at the plate, reached on an error and scored in the second. Foul ball. There's 2 runs in the second, coming with a couple of outs.
This is a good double play opportunity right now for Auburn. The double play isn't as common as you'll see in baseball, but with these Auburn Tigers, they try to make it as common as possible. And right now, with the righty and Gordon up to bat, not a ton of speed. Herod at first. He might try to turn 2, get out of the inning.
Yeah, the tougher out maybe Herod. There she goes. The throw down goes out into center. Herod's going to try for third. Backed up by Draper, and the throw not in time. And with 1 out, the go-ahead run at third base.
I love the call by Alameda. Even after getting thrown out earlier in this inning, she sends Herod on a changeup, and Herod pops right back up, and you see the aggressiveness of what Florida State has shown the entire season. This is how they play. This is how they win. Very aggressive on the base pass.
A stolen base and an error charge to Wallace. And Gordon can grab the lead, but first Clint Byars, I believe, is headed for the first base umpire.
He's going to ask him to make sure they're not leaving early. And if anything, even if they're not, just to get it in the minds of the Florida State athletes as they get on the bag, being like, all right, am I going to be protected or not?
Can't leave the base until the ball leaves the pitcher's hand.
Nope, she's on it.
That's a
says legals.
Absolutely, that's a
You
good
want to
lead.
be.
But this is still smart, you know, a smart call by Coach Myers to go out and talk to the umpires.
Oh, apparently Coach Myers was arguing his case a little too vehemently. They have given him a warning as he heads back to the dugout. Also a show of support for his team out there on the field. You know, the players tend to love that kind of stuff when the managers fight for them.
You see this with the Myers. Sometimes it's just calming down a Florida State team that was just cheering and loud because their runner just stole second and took third, and now he does that, and it kind of brings everything back settled down.
0-2 to Gordon. One and two. Martin in a jam. Their first inning of relief work here in the third. Just off the plate, 2-2. First 2 games, they were error-free. They've got a couple of them tonight. E6 and an E2. The first error hurt him, cost him a run. Let's see if the second one does. State grabs the lead. They take advantage of both Auburn errors.
defense pulled in because of the runner on third base. Gordon smartly doing a good job of shortening her own swing just to poke this through. Jade Rhodes at first pulled way in to try to get that runner, Herod. Because of that, they were able to find the hole between first and second base.
So they go to the relief pitcher, and Martin struggles. And now they've got more activity in the bullpen. Alex Casas grounded out in the second inning. It was a spectacular barehanded play by Cooper at third base. That's ended up saving a run for Auburn. Casas takes a strike.
This Florida State team impressive. I love their demeanor. They're playing the game they're given. That Auburn, they're not trying to yank the ball out of the yard. They're taking the extra base when they can. Just very well schooled by Coach Alameda.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Chop back to Martin. She's going to have to hurry. Won't get there. And now they've got the runner caught in a pickle between first and second. For some reason, Gordon stopped.
She may have looked up and saw the high hop, and the way that Martin caught it, she may have thought that it was off the bat. So important to try to sneak a peek. And there's a lot going on. You can see she takes off, and when she looks back, she sees the ball in the air, and she thinks it's a pop-up. She was running on the pitch. Let's take a look at it again. This is where it can be so confusing. It's so important, even when you're stealing, to sneak a peek. See, she does it, and by the time she does, the ball's already in play, and it looks like it's a pop-up instead of a ground ball, unfortunately, for Florida State.
So instead of 2 on with 1 out, you've got 1 on with 2 out for your number 9 hitter, Casas, who struck out on a screwball. Oh, we've seen a base runner caught stealing. We've seen another one caught in a rundown this inning, but we've also seen the good side. Herod with a stolen base, the hustle on the error, and eventually coming in to score to give FSU the lead. Scored a single, by the way, for Alex Casas. And then 1-3-6 on the out for Gordon. Throwing away a couple of pitches in a row.
Florida State, you mentioned it, Smith, they're using what they're given. They've been either just pounding the ball on the ground with their slappers to try to get on base. They're finding the gaps, and you're not seeing these huge line drive home run swings. You're seeing, hey, this is a drop ball pitcher. I want to use the ground to the best of my ability to just get the base hit.
Another one away.
And they've put Auburn in motion, and when you do that, it's a lot easier to make errors, and they've forced 2 of them already uncharacteristic in the Tigers. But that's what pressure is. That's what putting people in motion.
3 of the 4 runs scored, guys. A hit batter, a walk, and Gordon, who reached on an error. Those are 3 of their 4 that got on base that came around to score. Reaches for it, Cooper. Good range at third. Side retired. Florida State does get another one up on the board, and they take the lead. Carasoni, Wallace, and Rhodes due up. Wallace has a 3-run home run tonight for Auburn.
It's all about adjustments. Last night she was 0 for 3 against Georgia, and look at where she's at on the left. Her front foot is open versus today on the home run swing, she gets closed. Why does she do this? Because when she was struggling yesterday, look at her body and momentum versus today, that perfect straight line. That's the difference for her of being open to closed, closed to closed. She's able to simplify her swing, which allowed her body to stay in the batter's box and get the big home run.
3-run shot that got Auburn the lead in the first after Florida State had scored the first run of the game, and now the Seminoles, a couple in the second, one more run in the third to take the lead. Carasoni walked and scored on the home run. Second team All-American, second all-time in home runs batted in. We've talked about the renaissance that Clint Byars and this staff have brought in before Clint and after Clint. Totally different ball game in terms of batting average, power, runs scored,
and confidence. I think that's the big one.
Yes.
Carasoni, Rhodes, and Cooper are their 3 best sluggers in school history.
The players like to say they helped eliminate the doubt. And as female athletes especially, there's always that doubt that creeps in. Am I good enough? Can I do the job? As you see, Carasoni does it right there with a base hit up the middle.
Base runner on board for Carly Wallace, who had the 3-run shot to straightaway center field. Well, Bruce Pearl, the Auburn basketball coach, checking out the action today with his play-by-play of the 3-run bomb for Wallace. Hashtag War Eagle.
I like his home run call. Back, gone. She gone.
I don't know if Bruce ever met a microphone he didn't like. He'd probably be the first to admit that. A great supporter of the women's athletic teams at every stop he's made along the way.
I like the subtle adjustment we talked about with Wallace. And this is, to me, when you talk about eliminating doubt, you're able to make these subtle adjustments and know this is going to allow me to be the hitter that I know I can be after 0 for 3, which it's not the end of the world. But the mentality is so powerful. And that's what this Auburn team, this Auburn offense, so strong in their belief.
Boy, the question now becomes for King getting into the spot in the lineup where there's 5 righties in a row. Can she retire the righties?
This is where you guys were wondering if maybe is the time to go to Burrows. It's a 3-0 count to Wallace, takes strike 1.
And it comes back to locating pitches. I think the elevated pitch that got knocked out of the park, if she can keep that down around the knees, dropping out of the zone instead of riding up or bleeding up into the zone, that makes the difference.
Ball 4, 2 on for Jade Rhodes. And nobody embodies the change under Clint Byars better than Jade Rhodes does, who was a sub-100 hitter as a freshman before Clint and company arrived. And she has grown and developed a lot of that, certainly the hard work on her own that she put in to become a power hitter who can hit for average, is having the best season of her career, and has become an All-American.
And the power, I mean, you look at her and you think, of course, power hitter, but as you see those first 2 seasons, not just the batting average down, but only 7 home runs. She had 0 her freshman year, and she just missed hitting one out her last at bat. As you see Jessica Burrows coming in from the bullpen, looks like they're gonna make the change.
King can re-enter, but for the time being, she will pass the armband and the softball to the right-handed junior Jessica Burrows when we come back. Two on base with nobody out for Auburn, and Jessica Burrows will come on. Burrows fresh off of a shutout of Michigan this afternoon to knock out the 2 seed. She is riding a scoreless inning streak of 13 1/3 and just 4 hits allowed in the last 46 batters that she has faced. She's 2-0 here at the World Series in her 3 appearances. That win over Michigan, efficient. She only needed 101 pitches. And she's facing 4 righties in a row here with Rhodes.
You see 62 pop up on the radar gun. She's not going to blow it by these hitters, but she will spin it. She's got a curveball to both sides of the plate. She'll also throw that curve on different planes and fly ball outs. That's her moneymaker. Besides the K, that's what she relies a lot on.
Rhodes rips one foul. 17 home runs, 67 runs batted in. Jade hasn't hit a home run in her last 22 games. Some might say she's due.
I actually worked with Jessica Burrows when she was about 10 years old at Houston County High School. I had a pitching clinic, and she just had tons of spin. I could tell even as a youngster that she was going to be something special in the circle.
She has certainly shown that, Michelle. 29-5 on the year, the ACC Pitcher of the Year.
And even back then, I remember working with her and, you know, tucking knuckles, figuring out curveballs. How do you work them? And that's what great pitchers do. They become a student of the game. Even when you're 10 years old, you learn from as many different people as you can. I did that through my career. I was learning pitches late in my career, trying to figure out who I could from the best of the best. Joan Joyce, teach me your drop ball.
3-1 to Rhodes, and Jade tattoos one. And the home run drought is over. Rhodes with a 3-run bomb.
Why Jade Rhodes is off the plate. Look how far she is from the plate, is because she likes to get extended. This pitch going out, she knows it's out. Look at her react, just drop the bat, hand up. I know it's gone. I'd say at least 300 feet, clearing past the bleachers, out onto where LSU was perched earlier on.
She absolutely crushed that one. It's 6-4 Auburn.
And
Justin on the info.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a great point about her being off the plate.
Fly ball, shallow left. And Sobb's got it, 1 down.
And that's where, as a pitcher and a battery, as a catcher, you have to adjust the strike zone. The further a hitter comes off the plate, well, you have to adjust your strike zone and move your pitches. You can't just keep locating them on the inside corner, because now it looks like it's sweet and right over the middle of their wheelhouse.
Well, they hadn't hit a home run here in their first 2 games, and Auburn a pair of 3-run shots, one in the first and another here in the third.
And wow, did that wake up this crowd. And there's a lot of fans here that are just softball fans. They're not necessarily Auburn or Florida State, and everyone in this stadium could appreciate balls not that hard.
Yeah, except the pitcher.
We have already had 3 lead changes in the first 3 innings. Florida State fighting to stay alive. Auburn, a win tonight gets them to the championship series for the first time in school history. Warren, 2 down. We have had 8 different champions in the last 11 years. 11 different programs have reached the championship series as the game has grown nationwide And away from the long, dominant West Coast. There is not a West Coast presence in the semifinals. That guy's got his Watch ESPN app out.
He's locked in.
I'm sure he wants to hear your commentary. Right back to Burrows. Snagged the comebacker. But Jade Rhodes rediscovers her home run swing, launches one out with 2 on, and Auburn is back on top.
Here with Auburn softball coach Clint Byars. And coach, you've got 2 hitters with 2 home runs today. What are some of the adjustments you saw Carly Wallace make? She wasn't as successful today.
Well, Carly's just getting the bat out a little better than what she was yesterday. Hitting practice today, we just kind of worked on staying our legs and letting the barrel go, and she did a good job today, so we're happy with it.
And Jade Rhodes, before you got here, she was a sub-100 hitter. How have you turned her into a home run hitter?
She believes in herself. You see that smile? She had it stepping in the box, and she had it stepping on home. So, I mean, again, with Jade, it was just confidence and a little bit of tweaking with some mechanics, but hey, she gets the credit. She's just having a hell of a year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holly, and it has been a spectacular year for Jade Rhodes and for Auburn. They're back in the national semis for the 2nd year in a row and trying to get the FCC a 4th national championship in the last 5 years. She and Carly Wallace 3-run shots off of 2 different Seminole pitchers. Auburn already on its 2nd pitcher. It's a shootout. We've already had 3 lead changes. And for Florida State, it's the top of the order, and Claveman did that hitter outside the batter's box. For these slappers, you cannot contact a batted ball outside the box.
I think this is a good call by Mike Bartling behind the plate. You see it hits her face mask.
Dead ball, dead ball, dead ball, dead ball, out.
Mike Bartling, our home plate umpire, with Cody Little and Chris Drum on the bases. One hit by pitch, scored in the 1st, and then drove in a run in the 2nd. Florida State had the lead, lost it, got it back, and now has lost it again.
Corey Myers from the dugout doing a pretty good shift on Jessica Warren. You can see center fielder Draper and Gibson both pulled over way shaded to the right, close to the line. Warren's got that oppo swing.
0-2 to Warren, and gloved by Rhodes at first, 2 down.
I think that's the problem with, I love that Jessica Warren knows how to battle that away pitch, but the problem with it is when she's not fouling it off, she's still just throwing her hands at something and getting herself out.
Alex Powers, the run-scoring double in the 1st, then singled in the 2nd. This is her first look at Martin. McHale gets it in for a strike.
We've seen some short swings from Powers. The 8 hits this tournament, and I think this is the at-bat 2 outs. If you want to unleash on one, this is where you get the big power swing. You can tell she's looking for a specific spot. She took the 1st strike, takes that last one.
Powers, the comebacker, knocked down by Martin. Plenty of time over to 1st. 3 up and 3 down for the Auburn defense. They lead it 6-4. We'll hear from Lonnie Alameda on the other side.
Down 2 to Auburn here with Lonnie Alameda, the Seminoles coach. And you guys got off to such a great start, but then you brought in Jessica Burrows. She gives up the home run. How gut-wrenching is that decision right there with 2 runners on?
Yeah, I mean, King was getting balls up in the zone a little bit, and she just didn't really get the ground balls that we thought. And so, JB pitched a good game today, and we were trying to get after it with her. And she'll battle. We'll battle here. We got lots more ball game left.
One of the things you did very well against a good Auburn defense is put runners on, steal bases, put pressure on their defense with 2 errors. How can you continue doing that?
Yeah, we're a speed team. We like to really try to, put the ball in play and move and do all that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep doing that. And their pitching allows that. They're not so much strikeout. They're contact pitchers. And so we just got to keep putting the pressure on them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holly. It will be 9 and then the top of the order coming up for Auburn here at the bottom of the 4th. And a 6-4 lead for the Tigers. We've got a couple of teams here in the semis that are trying to get to the championship series for the first time. If Auburn and Oklahoma win tonight, game 1 would be tomorrow. Best 2 out of 3. Draper drops it down. Warren picks it up, 1 down.
Great read by Warren. And that's really what it's all about. We talk about positioning. I feel like that's the biggest improvement over the last couple years is defensive positioning, reading of hands, reading the play as it's developing.
A lot of coaches and a lot of players give a lot of credit to television and all the video that you can now get on pitchers and on hitters.
Yourself on the back right.
That was a collective us, I think. 2 down as Howard flies out. But you get the opportunity to do a lot more studying, and you can, when you talk to the players that come here to the World Series that are students of the game that live in that video room, it makes a huge difference.
It's cool to hear. I mean, honestly, the fact that you have the technology. I mean, I remember just being excited if you saw softball on TV just 1 time, and it was like, look, like there's our sport. Now it's, I mean, with all the local divisions and the conferences having their own television networks, and you're able to see everything that you need to, and just from an athlete standpoint, you can visualize. You can say I've seen Jessica Burrows now 18 at bats if you need to.
Here's Casey Cooper. Cooper gets into one. That is deep. And that is out of here. Casey Cooper, the 3rd home run of the night for Auburn.
And every home run starts with a pitch. We've talked about it before. It's all about locating pitches and attacking hitters. And when you're throwing this pitch right through the white part of the zone, you're going to get in trouble.
Cooper, look at this swing. I mean, this is a rise ball moving up, and her swing path, the way that she's able to get underneath it but square up right about middle to underneath, as you see a fan with their hat try to catch it. But Cooper, one of the best hitters in the country, and the player of the year from the SEC, showing up here in Oklahoma City.
7 runs on their 3 home runs, and for Casey Cooper, a record-setting ball, her 20th of the season, to set a new school record. And just when it looked like Burrows was settling in, Cooper with an unsettling swing from the FSU perspective. We talked about the power in the open, and it has been on display. Cooper, Wallace, and Rhodes.
You know what's scary too, Beth, is she didn't even get all of that. I mean, she technically mishit that. It was almost a pop fly that scores, which just tells you how much power Cooper has.
Another deep shot. And this one will stay in the yard. Claveman has it. Carasoni retired. Side retired. But a big swing from Casey Cooper. A launch pad here in OKC. It's 7-4 Auburn. Semifinal Sunday night at the Women's College World Series. 8 teams down to 4. Auburn, Florida State, and then coming up next, Oklahoma and LSU. The Tigers from the Plains and the Sooners are 1 win away from the championship series. The Tigers from the Bayou and Florida State need 2 wins 3 home runs today for Auburn. The solo from Cooper and then the 3-run shots from Wallace and from Jade Rhodes. And for Jade, her 2nd home run in their last 23 games. Trying to get it back on track, and she hit it a ton today. Sydney Broderick. It's 4, 5, and 6 for Florida State. They scored a run in the first, 2 more in the second, added a run in the third. Twice they have had the lead, and twice they have lost it. Draper. 1 down. Well, the Women's College World Series Championship Series begins with Game 1 tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPN. If there are no if necessary games. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. If necessary would occur if Florida State were to win or LSU were to win. That would bump the Champ Series back to Tuesday. This is Ellie Cooper. After going 0 for 11, she was dropped down in the batting order and has responded today, got hit by a pitch and singled. But for Florida State now, the outs are getting precious to try and extend their season. Cooper, 2 down.
And I love the fact that Florida State has, and Lonnie Alameda has scheduled the way she has this year. I think over the last couple of years, she's learned I have to play Auburn mid-season. I have to play Florida. I've got to get these teams in that are going to make a difference so that I know what it feels like. My team knows what it feels like to play against them in the College World Series.
Played Auburn mid-season. They had a 22-game win streak at one time during the year. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Michaela Martin. A 3-run lead for Auburn over Florida State. And look who's coming up for the Tigers. It's Carly Wallace, the 3-run shot. Jade Rhodes, a 3-run job of her own. Seven to 4, Auburn with the lead over Florida State. They didn't have any home runs in their first 2 games here. They've got 3 of them through the first 4 innings tonight.
And it all is about hitting adjustments. Look at how far Wallace is off of the plate. Look at the location, though, however, of the pitch. Right down Broadway. That ball goes out of the yard. Rhodes, look how far, again, she's off the plate. You have to adjust your pitches so they cannot get extended. And then, of course, this one. Look at Cooper. Again, right over the heart of the plate. She's in the back of the box. You've got to make adjustments. So as the hitter adjusts, you too as a pitcher must adjust and move your locations.
It is Wallace, Rhodes, and Fagan due up. Look at what Auburn has done to Burroughs in the 3 games that they've seen each other this year, as opposed to everybody else. Remember, Burroughs was coming off of a 3-hit shutout of Michigan this afternoon, blanking the number 2 seed. Fly ball out to right. Gordon's got it. 1 down. How about the pick you up moment brought to you by Enterprise, and Jade Rhodes picking up her team big time. With a couple on base, the deepest one we've seen so far in the World Series, and a 3-run tater. Jade almost put one out her first at bat, deep center field, and the fly ball to Claveman.
I think the goal now is to try to not allow that extension to happen. I was impressed at her using her leverage to be able to hit a pitch that was out over the outside part of the plate and pull it the way she did. And I think now they're going to come all inside, not let her hands get out.
And I would think the changeup. I feel like the changeup has disappeared in this game. You know, that's one of the things. You can get away with certain pitches when you're mixing speeds.
Well, we understand the evolution of the game to a certain extent. The coaches in the dugout calling pitches, but I think it goes back to something that you talked about, reading not only the game, but also reading where people are in the batter's box, where their feet are, where their body is at, to make those adjustments from pitch to pitch.
Absolutely, pitch to pitch, and also mid-pitch, because there are a lot of athletes, a lot of hitters that will back up or scooch on the plate while you're in the middle of your motion. You have to be able to read that and adjust.
I like Paige Parker last night at Oklahoma, shaking off pitches, saying, I want to throw this one. This is what I'm feeling right now.
3-1 to Rhodes. Had Herod taking a step back, makes the play, 2 down.
And one of the most, I think, important attributes of a pitcher is to be committed to every pitch. You've got to throw every pitch with conviction, because if you don't, that hitter knows, they smell that. They are going to pounce all over it.
Haley Fagan has walked and flown out to left. And she lines one right back up the middle. 2-out base runner. They scored a run with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Trying to do it again here in the 5th. Wouldn't that be a story for Haley Fagan, coming from that family of softball players who have had their ups and downs over the course of their careers, both on and off the field, and taken off the red shirt just to play in the postseason and the stretch run towards a championship that would be the first in Auburn history. Maddie Gibson is 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs. Pops it up, and drift back into the netting.
All these Auburn righties far off the plate. They do a nice job, though, of staying inside the ball. And Hagan, even with her, Haley Fagan with her last hit. The Burrows right now trying to get in on the hands. You can tell there's a game plan and a comfort. It's not easy to hit for these Auburn hitters when you are that far off the plate, but they know how to do it. Ooh, and that's a spot that Burrows wants to get called. I mean, you think about the distance between Gibson and where that pitch is located. It is a ball, the way K-Zone showed it, but close enough to get called a strike.
1-2 pitch. That is a foul ball just outside the bag at 3rd.
I love the positioning of Warren. Look how far off the line she is. Yeah, I think that's great. Take away that 5-6 hole. You're still within diving distance, though, of the foul line.
Trying to get the chalk off of her hand. Another 1-2 to Gibson. With Fagan over at first and 2 outs. Grounder to second, and Cooper doesn't stay down on it. E4 on the second baseman.
Ellie Cooper, normally so sure, gloved, and that ball just right through the wickets. You can see she pulled her glove up at the end. A little bit of distraction. Fagan moving in front of her.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, it's just remarkable to me, Maddie Gibson getting on base there. When you think about this Auburn roster, there are 3 walk-ons in the starting lineup, including Maddie Gibson. So Clint Byars comes in and takes over a program that was 7-17 in the SEC. In the very first meeting they had, he said, we're going to go to the Women's College World Series. We're going to win a national championship. And here they are, 1 win away with 3 walk-ons on their roster. It's truly remarkable, the journey this Auburn team is on.
Gibson, the right fielder, Holly, the center fielder, Draper, the shortstop, Jordan, all walked on. And with an Auburn win, they will be into the championship series. The turnaround has been remarkable, just like it was really at Arizona State.
And Coach Myers loves to use science. They have a lot of different departments at Auburn where they will come in. They'll do scientific studies. They'll study the pitchers. They'll study their hip angles. They'll study how tight they are after pitching. When do they throw their best? They're all very fit. They work very hard in the off season. And, you know, again, those are all qualities of championship teams.
Here's the 1-1 to Whitney Jordan, another one of those walk-ons. And there it is. BC before Clint and AC after Clint arrived. A couple of 50-win seasons, a couple of SEC titles, and now back-to-back trips to the World Series. Lifted out to center and back into the sun is Claveman. Side retired, 7-4 Auburn as we enter the 6th. Coming up next on semifinal Sunday night, the Oklahoma Sooners, winners of 29 games in a row, on a quest for a 3rd national championship. Bianca Bell leading LSU in an effort tonight to get to the championship series for the first time in school history. She hit a couple out of the park earlier today.
She did it on almost the same pitch. She got a rise ball from Wilkinson early in the game that she blasted Oppo, and then how about showing it off again, even a little bit higher. Let's go center field this time. Bianca Bell, one of the all-time greatest hitters for LSU, especially how she can hit the long ball.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Paige Parker will be throwing her rise balls. I think I'd stay low in the zone.
Parker has been tearing it up, leading the country in wins with 35. Will she be facing Carly Hoover, who pitched them to the win over Georgia earlier today? 4 SEC teams were here, half the field at the World Series, 2 remain. And Auburn is now 6 outs from their first trip to the championship series. Bottom of the order here for FSU. And the base hit right back up the middle. Leadoff single for Gordon. Now the Southeastern Conference, over the course of the last 5 years, 9 appearances in the semis, 3 championships, 1 for Alabama, 2 for Florida. And after the Gators were knocked out and upset in the Supers, that really opened the door for all 8 teams here. The 2-seed Michigan is out, so the 3-seed Oklahoma now takes over as the favorite.
The fact that we have a chance to see 3 teams of the 4 in the semis right now that have never won a national championship just showcases the parity of college softball right now.
This is Alex Kosoff. Singled in the 3rd, robbed of a base hit by Cooper, and her first at bat drops down the sacrifice. Out at first, Gordon to second. Here's Holly.
I know some viewers get tired of hearing about the SEC and the dominance that they've established, but they've done it for good reason. They have completely dramatically overhauled some of their facilities and what they're investing into the sport of softball. For example, at Auburn, they have doubled their coaching salaries. They have brought up their personnel salaries, like director of operations and people that are supporting this staff by 165%. They've invested $23 million into the renovation of their softball stadium. So it's just a firm commitment to the sport.
Well, and that's really what it takes when you look at facilities and all the things that matter in football and men's basketball and men's sports, well, of course they matter in women's sports. When you're recruiting athletes, to bring them into your palace and say, hey, we put 3,000 people a game and we're televised, I think I want to go play for you.
Well, and it's forced other programs around the country. All 8 teams that were here have had to up the ante at their own ballparks, make it a better fan experience. They've done that. Florida State has been successful for decades. Dr. Joanne Graff, their former coach there for 30 years. They have a terrific ballpark in Tallahassee.
And I'm excited that Oregon just really committed to their program, because that's going to push the rest of the Pac-12 to now upgrade their facilities.
It's really cool to see, too. I mean, just being able to travel and see the facilities all across the country. And you walk in and it's like, wow, this sport has arrived. And I feel like that's the feeling you get, is just a sense of professionalism, like you belong.
The umpires apparently have their own walkie-talkie system here at the Women's College World Series. I think they spotted a fan who was using flash photography.
Usually that'll come from a hitter. When it's behind home plate, usually a pitcher will notice it, but if it's got to be a pretty bright flash. It's coming in from center field and you're a hitter and you're noticing it.
Don't challenge the eyesight of the home plate umpire, Mike Bartling, folks. Spotted that one behind the plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Knocked down by Carasoni, and Rhodes was not able to find the bag with her foot. And Florida State will bring the tying run to the plate.
And Rhodes having a tough time getting to the bag, not knowing exactly where it is. I think she thought Carasoni was going to make that catch and then backpedals to the bag. That is tough as a first baseman. You usually try to split it and then go back and tap with one foot.
Nice eyes by Cody Little, because that was a lot of movement. He made the right call.
Looks like they're going to get Karina Rosario out to run at first base. It's the top of the order coming up here for the Seminoles. And Morgan Claveman, an RBI triple back in the second inning. And a pitching change coming for Auburn. We'll sort out who's in the circle for you when we come back to the Women's College World Series. Back here at the semifinals, Auburn with the 7-4 lead. Top of the 6th with 1 out, and Florida State is bringing the tying run to the plate in their leadoff hitter, Morgan Claveman, to face the new pitcher for Auburn, Rachael Walters, the senior from Virginia, the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Tigers. And Walters is the lefty coming in.
She's got that lefty curveball. She'll throw it to both sides of the plate, about mid-60s, which we've seen consistent of all of Auburn's pitchers, but she is best. She get those hitters to chase her rise ball. Still another pitch to contact pitcher, but lefty on lefty is her biggest asset.
In their regular season meeting, game 1, Walters got the win and beat Burroughs. She threw 4 2/3 innings. Well, tonight on ESPN After Boxing, don't miss SportsCenter at Night with Bucci, John Anderson, Stan Verrett. The guys will have updates from the whole day in sports, and it's also on your ESPN app. Might be talking a little hoops, I would imagine. Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors, game 2. Over on ABC tonight.
I think they're going to be talking about some college softball.
They sure ought to. It's the semifinals.
Sports Center plays.
4 teams left standing.
Sure. Some of the long, I mean, Jade Rhodes, it's got to make Sports Center.
Yeah, that was a bash.
What's Steph Curry got on Jade Rhodes? Come on.
There's a home run buffet here. Come on.
Some of his three-pointers, I think, have been as far as the Rhodes home run. But that's a story for another day, because Florida State right now is threatening. They have to win this game to extend the season until tomorrow in a rematch with Auburn. And it's officially nail-biting time in the semis. Florida State hitting .500 today with runners in scoring position. Down in the zone for a strike.
You mentioned earlier, Cleveland got the triple. It was really positioning, and you can see how far he got. Shortstop pulled over, Draper in center, everyone pulled over. She hit it up the middle last time, all the way to the wall.
Draper lost it in the sun. She is no longer in the sun out in center. It's almost completely off of the field now. Full count. Cleveland followed by the 2 home run hitters that moved up in the batting order tonight to 2nd and 3rd.
And this is why Walters was brought in, to get Cleveland out so that they had wiggle room with Warren and Powers coming up. If she walks her, bases are loaded. Nowhere to put either one of them.
Look at the top of the lineup tonight. .500. They've driven in 3 of their 4 runs. Slap foul.
And they were working Cleveland. We talked about that lefty on lefty curveball, and the good thing with Cleveland, she does a nice job of all her momentum, all her weight. So normally a left-handed hitter, all her momentum is going to go to the right side. But the way that Cleveland moves to the batter's box, she's going to come across that plate, kind of follow that curveball.
Looking for the gap and diving to make the grab is Victoria Draper to rob Cleveland of extra bases.
Draper, who had the miscue earlier, perfectly positioned. If this isn't a Sports Center top 10 play, I don't know what is. Fully extended, superwoman, sunglasses flying off. She cuts off this, which would have been a double, if not a triple. Draper helping out her pitcher.
That may have been another 3-bagger that would have made it a 1-run game. Instead, there are 2 outs. With Warren coming up still, a swing away from tying this. She has 2 home runs already in the World Series. And she had an RBI single back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, as a pitcher, there's nothing better than turning around and seeing one of your outfielders laid out, grabbing that ball for you. Great first step, great everything.
Her defense has saved him a couple of runs. Remember the play by Casey Cooper at 3rd base earlier in the game tonight. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, I don't think anyone loved that play more than Victoria Draper's parents, Doug and Joanne. They are the parents in the stands with the best painted tiger faces you've ever seen. They actually went online, found a face painting specialist, paid about $50 to someone today. I said, what are you going to do if they win and you need these faces back on tomorrow? She said, we're going to wash them off and start all over again.
I love it.
I might sleep in mine.
Yeah, I was going to say, those will last you overnight. Here's Warren, 1-1. hitting better than .400 in the postseason. Walters tries to pick at the outside of the plate, 2-1. Miles an hour gets it Byars. 2-2. That was going to be ball 3.
Jessica Warren's probably not too interested in walking. She's like, let me hit it, let me hit it. But you're right, that was up. That would have been ball 4.
Yep. Well, she's got Alex Powers right behind her, who's got the hottest bat in the tournament. As we've seen her do all day, just throwing the bat at that away pitch.
I think a lot of it, even swinging at the rise ball, is just protecting, getting herself in a position. She's got 2 strikes, just trying to make sure she gets rid of a ball and doesn't get rung up looking.
Full count. And that will allow the base runners to get a head start. Gordon at second, Rosario at first. Tying run at the plate. Ball 4, and they are loaded for Powers. The ACC Player of the Year, who has overcome a couple of ACL injuries, as Hallie reported earlier. Her coach raves about her confidence and how much she loves a good fight, and she's got one right here, and a chance to get Florida State right back in it. She's 2 for 3 tonight. And so far at the Women's College World Series, 8 for 12 with a couple of home runs.
This is the matchup that Corey Myers wanted when they put in Rachael Walters. They were thinking lefty on lefty, and they were thinking Walters on Alex Powers. She's going to come right back with that curveball away. Can Powers break that pitch?
Just did catch a slice of it. Two from Walters. Outside again. Walters continues to work away from Powers. 16 home runs, 62 runs batted in. For the junior out of Melbourne, Florida. Foul.
And it's a good spot for Walters because she's continued to work that curveball away. She comes inside with the rise ball, but there's no question what's coming next.
And all of these pitches, 0-2, a lot of foul-offs. This is where, as a pitcher, you have to be very careful when a hitter's being extremely aggressive. She's fouled off 11 of the team has. The team has, yes, of 21.
And just fouled down the line and left.
That was some serious plate coverage. That pitch was about 1.5 feet off the plate. That's what Florida State has shown. We saw it with Jessica Warren and her fouling off pitches. Now with Alex Powers, just ability to up and in, low and away, reach the ball. Now I think Walters 0-2. Give her something she can't hit. Throw it way out of the zone.
Out to center, Draper, got it. Florida State leaves them loaded. 7-4 Tigers.
Victoria Draper, put on your cape and throw out your superhuman powers as she makes a dive and catch. She's gonna pick up a bat now, lead off the Tigers in the bottom half of this inning.
Beautiful day at the ballpark. Those are the Clint Byars grandchildren. It has been a family affair at Auburn. They had their pet turtle with them. Megan King is back in the circle here. Through the first couple of innings tonight. Got chased and is back out there. Karina Rosario will also stay in the game. The pinch runner is now out in left field. This is Victoria Draper, a couple of ground outs, but one of the more spectacular defensive plays we've seen here at the World Series. Quite some time.
Fired me up. Sunglasses blowing up, fully extended. It's about the Abbeys.
Top of the order will follow her, one down. You know, a lot of you have been asking about Kelsey Bogards and the green ribbons that all of the Auburn players are wearing. Kelsey is one of their shortstops, out with an ACL injury, came back late in the year and then got hurt again. And as Kelsey looks on, she's headed home tomorrow to continue pursuing her career. She wants to be a nurse. And so she's back to her nursing studies, and her team is thinking about her. They call her Turtle. Yeah, they've got the shells and they've got the green ribbons for her.
I think the other thing that makes that amazing is that they're really playing and potentially on the cusp of going to the championship series with their third string shortstop.
Yep. Whitney Jordan replacing Bogards and Haley Fagan. And as Holly Rowe reported earlier, 3 in the starting lineup are former walk-ons. Fagan, the transfer, wanted to be a part of something special at Auburn. Howard, liner to Rosario, 2 down. And to be able to do it in the SEC, to rise to the top and to fight for conference championships and now possibly a national championship. Alabama and Florida have won 3 of the last 4. Oklahoma, the other team that has won a title in the last 5 years, they're coming up next against LSU. Casey Cooper hit a solo home run back in the 4th. with 2 outs. It is the 4, 5, and 6 batters due up for Florida State in the top of the 7th. That would be their last chance. King misses outside, 3-1. One of their 3 home runs, all 7 runs scored via the long ball. Cooper lines out. 3 up and 3 down. 3-run deficit for Florida State. One last chance. Center field, back it goes, and it is out of here. Carly Wallace, the 3-run home run. Jade tattoos one, and the home run drought is over. Cooper gets into one. That is deep, and that is out of here. Casey Cooper, the 3rd home run of the night for Auburn. Shot as we welcome you back to the NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. And it is a 3-run lead for Auburn, 3 outs to go before their first trip to the championship series in school history. Florida State has its 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up to try and extend this game and their season. They are 1 for 6 with a walk and a hit batter. Broderick, Cooper, and Herod.
Got the rally caps, the rally sunglasses, everything upside down, and because that works.
And there's a base hit to lead it off.
Apparently it does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Effective. It's got to be effective if you're looking like that, right?
No idea how much upside down hats and sunglasses will affect the base hits.
Going to get a pinch runner over at first.
And this is what Florida State, I mean, when they get their leadoff batter on, this is when they play their best softball. Because Lonnie Alameda, she told Holly Rowe earlier in this game, she likes to put the pressure on the defense. She likes to get them running. Expect some movement. And some tricks up her sleeve there, too.
The next 4 batters in the lineup have 4 hits tonight for Florida State. They have gotten production out of the bottom. With Victoria East running over at first base, here's Ellie Cooper. Hit by a pitch, also has the base hit. One thing that Auburn has been able to do is limit the chaos on the bases. They have thrown out a would-be base stealer. They have caught another runner in a rundown. The speed that is so lethal for the Seminoles. Can they muster some here in the 7th? Three and 1.
Ellie Cooper, who has been their leader, has taken on the role of really leading this Florida State team. The hardest thing she's had here in Oklahoma City is controlling her emotions. She wants it so bad. It's the type of athlete she is. It's the type of player she is. Right now, trying to calmly do her thing that she's done all season long, not make this moment too big.
Ball 4. And that will bring the tying run to the plate.
Walters with the lefty-lefty matchup. That's what you want. If that pitch touches the bottom of the K zone, shows up as a strike. She doesn't get the call, Walters. That's when it's tough. Those are the outs you have to get as a left-handed pitcher.
And there goes Kaylee Carlson running out to the bullpen. Carlson, Martin, and Walters, 3 different pitchers today for Auburn.
And this is where you look back to last inning, leaving the bases loaded, not picking up a run. Even if they'd gotten 1 run, it just makes a 3-run deficit or a 2-run deficit not seem so Everest-like.
That was a huge play by Draper out in center field on the diving layout for the catch. And Florida State could not score with the bases loaded. Now they've got a couple on board for Callie Herod. Freshman out of Rookville, Georgia, the biggest AB of her career. Looking for her first hit of the World Series. And Herod gets into one. Deep center field, and it is gone! And in the top of the 7th, Florida State pulls even. This for your first career hit in the series.
Talk about a huge opportunity. This pitch elevated, leaking back into the zone, and Callie just crushes it the opposite way. Not a bad way to pick up your first hit of the series.
Her 5th home run of the year evens the game at 7-all, and there is still nobody out. And the Seminoles stay alive. Trying to force the if necessary game tomorrow. Carson Gordon, a couple of singles, and also reached on an error and scored in the 2nd. Three lead changes, a couple of ties, and 3 3-run home runs.
And looking at your scorecard, another consideration is now that King is back in the game, Jessica Burrows is burned. So they are with King the rest of the way.
That'll be a rookie in the circle in the bottom of the 7th against Auburn's Big Boppers due up.
I don't think Burrows is a good matchup for Auburn. I think they hit her well, and the little time that she was there, they hit her well early in the season. King, even though she gave up some runs of her own, I think she's been the best matchup against this Auburn offense.
Ball 4. 2 hits and 2 walks in the inning for Rachael Walters. And now you've got the go-ahead run on base. Florida State has not rallied for a 7th inning victory all year long. And look at the emotion on Megan King's face in the dugout, knowing that she's got an opportunity to go out and throw another inning.
Wow.
Well, you could tell when she gave up that 3-run shot in the 1st inning, she looked very blank. So I think the opportunity to come back and potentially guide her team to a win is emotional. Now she needs to dig deep and be like, the horns.
Don't let the hitter see those tears.
No.
One attempt is pop foul. Those hitters would be Emily Carasoni, Carly Wallace, and Jade Rhodes.
Just your everyday 3, 4, 5.
That'll put tears in your eyes right there if you're a pitcher, regardless of the situation. Auburn has already won a game here in the 7th inning. What a comeback. Lonnie Alameda and these Noles, they talked about their fight. They have shown it again.
And how relaxed they are and enjoy the game, whether it's a half banana, upside down hats. I think it's a fine line. You don't want to just be all fun and games, but I think the ability and clutch, top of the 7th, you're down by 3, but you're still able to not feel like all the pressure is on you.
You can see them from the dugout. They're vested. I mean, every one of them is on the top step. They're all top steppers.
Cups in their ears and bananas.
They've never been to the championship series either. They want that opportunity. Cooper's only play is to first. Gordon to second base, so now the go-ahead in scoring position. Remember this, too, about Florida State. No program has come to the World Series more than the Seminoles without taking a trophy home. 9th trip here to Oklahoma City without a title. There you go. This is under the auspices of the NCAA. They won a couple of AIAW championships, but not NCAA Women's College World Series title. It's a pinch hitter now. Now check that. That's Zoe Casas.
She's re-entering.
Yeah, re-entering.
Like she was the DP, had been lifted as a pinch runner.
Tigers, are they out there in the dugout? Look at that, LSU out there in the dugout with the Auburn pitchers. They got a better view than the Auburn pitchers do right now.
That's Auburn. Tigers and Tigers.
Single back in the 6th. 2-2. After Zoe comes the top of the order, so barring a double play ball, the possibility of Claveman and Warren and Powers. And that tremendous trio for Florida State. We'll see at least Claveman here with 2 outs and a big strikeout for Walters.
Claveman, who had the triple back in the 2nd and scored, had that line out, which probably would have been a triple to Victoria Draper had she not caught it. And I think of all the lefties, she is the best matchup against Rachael Walters. She's been seeing that curveball so well because of the way she comes through that batter's box. Saw the strikeout to Zoe before her. She has the best chance to put that curve in play.
Struck out in the 1st, RBI triple in the 2nd. And had the line out in the 6th.
Defensively for Auburn, you can really see Draper moving in the outfield, following the glove. Carly Wallace, depending on pitch location.
This is exactly what Claveman has to work with. You see the positioning of Draper out in center. She's pulled way over, and that's her money spot. That's where Claveman wants to put this pitch.
full count. And if you walk her, you got to deal with Jessica Warren up next. Warren is already well on her way to becoming the career home run leader at Florida State in just her sophomore season.
Rachael Walters, this is really this is the at-bat you want, that lefty-lefty matchup. Work a curve hard, come in at the hand, something. You don't want to have to go against a power-hitting righty with potentially runners at first and second, nowhere to put her.
Throws the bat at it.
I think Walters needs to come up and in that rise ball, try to get under the hands of Claveman. She's obviously all over the curveball. She'll continue to waste it. We'll take this into midnight if she keeps throwing her curveball after curveball. I think she comes up and in with the rise. She might get her.
Goes low, misses the mark, and that will bring Warren to the plate with 2 on. Hit by a pitch, scored in the first, drove in a run with a single in the second, and then lined out to first in the fourth, was walked in the sixth. You got Gordon down at second base and Claveman at first. Good wheels on the bags. Well, we've seen the book on Warren is to try and get her to nibble at something way off the outside part of the plate.
Warren's got to be smart here. She knows, and you can tell just by that take, she's looking away. She thought about it, but she needs to make sure it's still over the plate. Just because you know a pitch is coming doesn't mean you swing at it if it's not a strike.
Two and one. Hitter. And for the second inning in a row, the bases are loaded for Alex Powers. In the top of the sixth, she flew out to center field. And now you are giving the ACC Player of the Year another crack at it.
And Walters, 5 free passes in just the 2 innings that she has thrown. 4 walks and the hit by pitch.
.40 pitches thrown this inning. Do they go to the pen or do they stick with Walters? Walters trying to stay cool as assistant coach Corey Myers will send in the pitch for Alex Powers. 2 for 4. Powers swinging away at that first pitch. She is 8 for 13 at the Women's College World Series.
Beth, I think that's the pitch she wants. Rachael Walters will work that curve just off the corner of the plate. Now she's going to keep moving it further and further away. To me, that was one pitch before. That was the one Powers had. And maybe Walters will make a mistake here, but if she's smart, she's going to keep working that curve and not give anything close.
Yeah, exactly. Powers, if she pulls off that ball, she may swing through it. If you give her anything close, she's going to crush it.
1-1, grounded to short. Jordan over to first. And they get Powers with the bases loaded for the second inning in a row. But Florida State in what could have been their final at-bat of the season. They are able to extend it. Callie Harrod, the 3-run shot to even the score. And the Auburn Tigers say, I see your 1 home run, and we'll take our 2 home run swings and bring them back up in the bottom of the 7th. The drama of semifinal Sunday night at the Women's College World Series. Florida State, the 3-run home run to tie it in the top of the 7th. And it's Auburn's turn to try and win it in the bottom. 10 of the 14 runs on the board have come via the home run tonight. And it is the heart of the Auburn lineup coming up. Emily Carasoni, Carly Wallace, and Jade Rhodes. They have scored 5 of their 7 runs and have driven in 6 of their 7 tonight. Carasoni is the senior from Orlando, Florida. When she showed up on the Auburn campus, they were barely above 500. She stuck around through the coaching transition with Clint Byars and is playing in the World Series for the 2nd time, trying to help her team play for a national championship. Fly ball, shallow left, coming on to make the catch is Casas, who has re-entered out in left field. 1 down. Last time they walked off with a win, it was a Casey Cooper home run on April 22nd against Georgia. They had a walk-off win against UCLA last year at the World Series. They were knocked out by Florida with a walk-off walk. Of Harrod, and it trickles out into center field, and the game winner is on base.
Wallace is just going to get a good pitch on the inside corner and just crush her right at Harrod. Just takes her eye off the ball at the last second. Again, it's the little things that a lot of these teams have been able to capitalize on. Tough error at a tough moment.
Casey McCracken is out at first base as the game winner. Here comes Jade Rhodes. She hit this one a very long way with 2 on board. That was back in the 3rd inning. Here she comes around again. She has flown out and grounded out as well tonight. Jade was a reserve, a sub-100 hitter before Clint Byars got to town. Has turned herself into an All-American. Senior class in Auburn history can make some more history with a walk-off win. And it's a Florida State freshman that is trying to prevent that. Megan King. She almost wasn't wearing the garnet and gold. Originally committed to Maryland, changed her mind. Wanted to stay closer to home. Found her happy place in Tallahassee.
Whoa, that was... Jade Rhodes didn't want to base hit with that one.
It was a 3-1 count. That's when you let it all out.
It was ball 4, but she saw that up with the eyes and she unleashed.
I like that. 3-1, aggressive, game's on the line, go for it.
Rhodes, center field, Claveman has it, 2 down.
Number 2, Haley Fagan.
They'll pass the bat to the birthday girl, Haley Fagan. With the winning run at first. Singled in her last at-bat, drove it right back up the middle. To short, and right there is Callie Harrod. Makes the play with her glove, and the Florida State home run hitter is due up third. We're going extras. We're playing extra innings in the semifinals. Florida State a 3-run 7th inning. And then they hold Auburn in the bottom half. So to the 8th we go, and back to Kaylee Carlson in the circle. For the Auburn Tigers, it's their 3rd pitching change as they go back to their starter, who worked the first 2 innings tonight.
Can't keep up with my scorecard.
Mine's messy.
4 different pitchers. Well, technically 3,
yep.
But 4 changes.
She was hit for 3 runs in those first couple of innings. Florida State got a 1-0 lead. Auburn jumped ahead. Florida State came back to tie it. Auburn retook the lead and held it to the 7th. And a Callie Harrod 3-run home run to tie the score. Her first hit of her World Series career for the freshman from Rookville, Georgia. And the pride of Heard County High School. Broderick started out that 7th with a single. Got the rally moving and draws the leadoff walk. Go ahead on base for Florida State.
This is the one area where Auburn has struggled. When they got beat up in that Tennessee series and late in SEC play, it really came down to their pitching. Too many free passes. Yep. They had to rein that in, and when they did, they got back on fire again, won the SEC tournament. But it's really been the Achilles heel when they have struggled.
Allie Cooper, the junior out of Fenton, Missouri, the daughter of a pro fast pitch player, her dad Russell from New Zealand. She wears his number 14 uniform. She's the leader of this team. Also played for her dad.
He's still coaching, still throwing BP. How cool is that? Dad that can throw fast pitch softball batting practice. Of course, I'm sure they battled. If my dad was throwing me BP, it was never BP. It was like, I was gonna get you out. Find all your weaknesses.
Iron forges iron, as they say.
A lot of chin music. Warren staring down the camera.
Kind of freaking me out right there.
It was a little eerie. Cooper drops it down to move the runner over, and with the sacrifice, 1 out. Big comeback for Florida State, trying to extend their season into the if necessary game tomorrow. If Auburn wins and if Oklahoma wins our second game tonight, the championship series would begin Monday night in prime time. Florida State and LSU can win tonight to play if necessary games tomorrow night. Change up at 50 miles an hour in for a strike.
We haven't seen Carlson. That's been her main pitch, and she has not thrown it very often. See Herod, her last AB, a 3-run game-tying home run, but Carlson not going to that changeup very much. She's been throwing it up in the zone, and she'll see right there. She throws it again up out of the. You don't see a changeup up out of the zone for a ball, but she's also slowing her arm down when she's going to throw it. So a little bit off with her best pitch.
That's all timing. You got to get your front foot down and explode that hand through on release. When you do that, that lowers it. So you're right, Jess. When your timing's off, it raises it.
Herod chases the rise, 1-2. Dropped the third strike, but the throwdown is there, 2 away. Carlson got it with the screwball. So that'll bring up Carson Gordon. A couple of base hits, a walk, reached on an error. She's been on board all 4 times she's come up.
Coming in line, number 12, Carson Gordon.
Sydney Broderick, the go-ahead run out at second. There's that changeup again.
She's thrown that with a little bit more conviction now. You see it's not as high in the zone, and she can get that even lower at the knees. That's been her best pitch.
Oh, and 2. Now that's the combo. Screwball, changeup. Changeup, setup, screwball hard under the hands. That changeup so much so her teammates call it the Devastator.
Goes back to the change to get her. Go ahead run stranded. Another chance for Auburn to win it when we come back. It's been a night for the long ball. Carly Wallace started it out, a 3-run shot. Jade Rhodes followed with 2 on board. The solo home run ended up being a big one for Casey Cooper. But the biggest of them all, top of the 7th, last at bat for the Noles, and Kaylee Herod, the 3-run bomb to tie it up. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and it's another chance for Auburn to try and win it and advance to the championship series for the first time in school history. Beth Mowens, Jessica Mendoza, Michelle Smith, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about those home run swings.
Well, we've seen so many close games, and pitchers, they deserve the credit, but to see the bats come to life in such a big way, both sides, it's been exciting.
And now the bottom of the order, and Maddie Gibson, it's misplayed by Casas in left. Gibson headed for third. And the game winner is 60 feet away. And the defensive miscues that hurt Florida State in their opening game here return.
That was ball is hit hard. Gibson gets a hold of this down the line, and we've seen this from both sides. But look at Casas. She's playing this so defensively, almost the ball playing her. It beats her up, but Gibson puts on the wheels, taking third, and now the opportunity to walk off is at third base.
Disbelief from the Seminoles after their comeback in the 7th. And we are at the bottom of the order for Auburn. Looks like they've made a defensive change as well. Out in left field, Lauren Harris is coming on for Casas. But to get back to the batting order for Auburn after the third error of the night for Florida State, you've got Jordan, and then you've got Draper.
7 errors in game 1. Lonnie Alameda talked about the nerves of the team, just uncharacteristic, but we're seeing those nerves arise again at the bottom of the 8th.
Whitney Jordan is 0 for 3. She wasn't even supposed to be in the lineup this year. Started out as the 3rd string shortstop. Injury opened the door. And now the sophomore from Athens has a chance to end it.
Defense is going to be well pulled in for Florida State. They know this is it. Anything hit to the infield, if the runner breaks, they have to come home. And they have to check before they go to first. Make sure they have a good look back. Middle infield up. Corner is slightly deep.
Foul back out of play, 0-2. The freshman Megan King trying to work out of the jam for Florida State. Jordan the grounder, the throw home from Warren, and safe at home is Maddie Gibson. And the Auburn Tigers are going to the championship series. The fielder's choice RBI. The game winner is unearned, and it's a walk-off win for Auburn.
Whitney Jordan hits this ball hard. Warren, a good job of getting that. The throw, though, high to Broderick.
What a slide,
and it's a great dive in. And because the throw is high, it does allow Gibson to get under the tag.
After Florida State tied it in the 7th, Auburn wins it in the bottom of the 8th. Morgan Padani was a pinch runner, and she scores the game-winning run. She is the Capital One player of the game.
How about this game? We saw 3 different lead changes throughout the entire game. Neither side gave up. Florida State, they battled, stuck in there, whether it was King and Burrows, but these Auburn Tigers, never before have they been to a World Series championship, and they earned it tonight.
Off the bat of Whitney Jordan, the fielder's choice drives in the pinch runner, Padani. So the Auburn Tigers move into the championship series, best 2 out of 3. awaiting Oklahoma or LSU, and Holly Rowe has Jade Rhodes.
Well, Jade, you contributed a key home run in this game. Tell me, when you stepped up to the plate, you immediately after you hit that ball raised your arm in the air. Why and how did you know that it was going to be so far?
I mean, I don't know. I really don't. It's just a feeling you get. I mean, I've been hitting home runs my whole life, so that, you know, coming up to the plate and Corey, you know, my coach behind me just saying, get in my legs, get in my legs. And the minute I just got in my stance and got in my legs, and the minute I made contact, I just knew that, you know, my team's behind me cheering. The minute it came off the bat, I was like, oh my gosh, it's gone, it's gone. But it wouldn't have happened if my teammates wouldn't have got on base. So,
how stressful was this last couple of innings as they put on a tying run in the 7th? What was that like in the dugout to know that you were in trouble?
To be honest, we're never down. I mean, we could be tied, we could be down 4 runs, and we can immediately come back. No matter what our pitchers are doing, we're always going to be behind them. We tell our pitchers, hey, if you keep us in the game, we're going to win this for you. So we just came up to the bat, and we know that we're never done until our last strike.
Coach Byars told you were going to the World Series and you would win a national championship in his very first meeting with the team. Now you're on to the championship series. How do you think that works?
It's unbelievable. I mean, we create our own greatness. You know, we determine our own destiny. It's like what he says every day. Come out, win ball games, pitch by pitch, inning by inning. And I mean, when he told us that from day one, we had no idea what to think. But we're here, and now we're going to the championship, so it's just exciting.
Thank you, Beth. Their destiny is a championship appearance.
Thank you very much, Holly. Well, the Auburn Tigers are in. Will it be another SEC school? Bianca Bell has hit a couple of home runs today to get them into the national semifinals against the Oklahoma Sooners. The pinch runner Morgan Padani safe at home to win it for Auburn. And they are moving on. OU and LSU coming up, but first the NCAA studio and Pam Ward.